buying the dip and making a huge profit. This is a high probability setup, but not easy in practice, right? You always hear they tell you buy the dip, buy the pullback, but at this point, the price could just go down. How can you be sure that the price is gonna turn and advance? This is a $1 million question, right? But don't worry, because I want to introduce a new indicator on TradingView that can help you find trading opportunities like this. But you need to learn how to use this indicator in the form of a trading strategy, so make sure you watch this video until the end and let's get started. Before I add the indicator, if you like my contents, please support the channel by liking the video and subscribing to my channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Alright, to add the amazing indicator to our chart, here we click on indicators and we search stochastic Z-score, this one, which is a new indicator from Algo Alpha. Alright, this is the indicator, and as you can see, it's added here below the chart. You can see that it is in the form of an oscillator, and we have lines and a histogram that are moving above and below the center line, which is set at 0. This indicator is an advanced indicator that is built based on statistical principles. First, Z-score is calculated, which is subtracting price from its mean and then divided by its standard deviation. This function normalizes the price movement, so we could say how far the price is above or below the average. In the settings of the indicator, here we have an option, show histogram, which when we turn it on, the indicator shows a histogram here, so we can see the intensity of deviations. This histogram can be used for mean reversion strategies, which I will explain it later. Alright, after calculating the Z-score, the indicator uses the Z-scores in a stochastic function, so it creates a bounded range oscillator based on a stochastic function. And after that, to further reduce the noise, a Hall moving average is also applied. The result is this line and the oscillator that you see here, and there is also another component here, which is a histogram based on Arnold-Ligox moving average, but this ALMA is calculated based on the Z-scores, and this will help us with longer-term momentum of the market. So this line is the primary oscillator line, which is actually a smoothed stochastic Z-score, and it will help us with short-term momentum changes. And then we have this histogram here, which is actually ALMA of the Z-score, and it will help us with longer-term momentum. We have also dynamic bands at 2 and 2.5, and here -2 and -2.5, and these are used for identifying extreme momentum zones, which can be a signal for overbought and oversold conditions. Alright, these are the components of the indicator, and before I explain how you can interpret this indicator and how you can use it for trading, I'm proud to announce that recently I published a book, The Art of Price Action Trading, which is a comprehensive guide to price action analysis. The link is in the description and you can get it later if you want to master price action trading. Alright, now let me teach you how you can use this indicator for trading. As I explained earlier, this line is the primary oscillator line, and it will help us to analyze short-term momentum changes. So by the help of this line, we can find buy-sell signals. This line can have different signals. First, when the line crosses above the center line or below the center line, it can be a signal for changing of direction, but we are not going to use this as a signal because, as I said, this line shows short-term momentum changes, and we want to get buy-sell signal entry from this line, and entering based on the center line crossover could be either late or false signal. So we focus on the second type of signals, which is when we have crossover of the line and its signal line. When we have upside crossover, it's a signal for upside momentum and we get a white circle like this. And when we get a downside crossover, it's a signal for downside momentum and we have similarly a white circle like this. But not all of these signals are good signals, and we can have false signals, and this is because of very small changes in the momentum. So we need to take the better signals that can provide larger movements of the price after the signal. So we focus on the signals that happen in overbought or oversold conditions. If you remember, I explained earlier that these two lines can give us overbought and oversold conditions in a short-term perspective. So when the oscillator goes in this zone or in this zone, it is likely to have turning of the price. So we are interested in sell signal that happens during overbought overbought and buy signal during oversold condition. But we still need to have more confirmation. We're going to use this histogram and also another indicator which I will add it later. As I said, this is Arnold-Ligox moving average of the Z-scores, and it helps us with longer term momentum changes in the market. So to filter some of the false signals, we try to take the signals that have confirmation of this histogram, meaning when we have a sell signal in overbought condition, the histogram should be red, and when we have a buy signal in oversold condition, the histogram should be green. The good news is that when we have these conditions, the indicator automatically shows a signal by the help of a triangle or a label on the price chart. For example, here you can see that we had a sell signal in overbought condition and the histogram is red. So the indicator printed signals, as you can see. But for example, here for this buy signal in oversold condition, since the histogram is not green, the indicator didn't show any signal, as you can see. As I mentioned earlier, I want to add another layer of confirmation so the risk will be decreased as much as possible, because we are still dealing in a short-term view and it's a good idea to have another layer of confirmation with a longer term view. So here again we click on indicators and we search RSI, this one, Relative Strength Index, and we're going to use RSI with its default settings, so we don't change any settings for RSI. Alright, now let me teach you how you can trade based on these indicators. For a short position setup, we are focused on times that we have a sell signal in overbought condition and the histogram here is red. The indicator also prints a signal when we have these conditions, and then the sell signal is confirmed only if RSI line is below the center line. If the RSI line is above the center line, the signal is rejected. In this case, you can see that RSI line is below the center line. So here the sell signal is confirmed, and in practice we could enter a short position at this point with the stop loss above the previous swing high and profit target at risk to reward ratio of 2. On the other hand, for a long position setup, we want a buy signal that happens during oversold condition and the histogram should be green. The indicator also shows the signal when we have this condition. The buy signal is confirmed if RSI line is above the center line. If RSI line is below the center line, the signal is rejected. In this case, you can see that RSI line is above the center line. So here the buy signal is confirmed, and in practice we could enter a long position at this point with the stop loss below the previous swing low and profit target at risk to reward ratio of 2. Please pay attention that this is a trend following strategy. So in times that suddenly we have a reversal or the market goes to a trading range, this trading strategy will not work well. For identifying non-trending market, the most effective way is price action analysis, but you can also use some indicators like ADX or Andean oscillator for this purpose. And another important point is risk management. There is no trading strategy with guaranteed signals, and losing positions are always part of the game, so you need to manage your risk properly. 1% rule is the best risk management strategy and recommended by professional traders. I have a complete guide on this. The link is also placed in the description, and I highly recommend you to watch it, because without a proper risk management strategy, you cannot become a consistently profitable trader. Alright, that's it. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask and leave a comment for me. I'll answer your questions as soon as possible. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit the bell so you get the notifications of my new videos. See you guys in next video and good luck with your trading.